Welcome to my channel. Today I want to ask you something simple, but powerful. What if learning English is not about being smart or fast, but about being patient and kind with yourself? What if the reason you are stuck is not because you are bad at English, but because nobody showed you the right way to learn it? In this video, I will take you step by step, like a friend walking with you on a quiet road. If you have ever felt confused, lost, or afraid of speaking English, you are not alone, and you are in the right place. Stay with me until the end, because each chapter will bring you closer to speaking English with confidence and peace. Let's begin your journey together. Chapter 1. The first step. Listening like a child. I still remember the very beginning of my English journey. At that time, the language felt like a puzzle I couldn't solve. The words looked strange, the sounds felt too fast, and nothing made sense to me. I would listen to people speak English, and it felt like I was standing near a fast river. The water, the words, rushed past me, but I couldn't catch even one drop. I felt lost. I felt frustrated. And deep inside, I started to believe maybe English was just not for me. But one day, something changed. I asked myself a simple question. How does a baby learn to speak? The answer was clear. By listening. Babies don't open grammar books. They don't memorize vocabulary lists. They simply listen. They hear the voices around them every day. The soft voice of a mother, the laughter of siblings, the sound of a song. All of that listening prepares their brain for their very first word. And when I realized that, I decided to stop forcing myself to understand everything. I told myself, just listen. Let the language enter your ears. Let your brain do the work in the background, and that became my first real step. In the beginning, listening felt like noise. I remember playing an English story and not understanding anything. The words flowed quickly. The sentences sounded like one big sound. But instead of giving up, I came back to that same story the next day, and the day after. On the fourth day, I heard the word, hello. My heart jumped. It was a small word, but I understood it. A week later, I caught the word, friend. Slowly, what once felt like noise started to feel like music. Not music I fully understood, but music that had rhythm and patterns I could begin to follow. Every time I heard a familiar word, it was like a light turning on in a dark room. That's the power of listening. It teaches your brain without you even noticing. You don't have to understand every word. Just like a baby listens without understanding, you can too. Your brain is amazing. It catches patterns. It learns sounds. It remembers tones. Even when you think nothing is happening, your brain is building a map. And every word you hear is like a small dot on that map. The more dots you collect, the clearer the map becomes. There's one memory I want to share with you. I was sitting alone, listening to an English story I had found online. I had listened to it before, maybe 5 or 6 times, and every time I caught a little more. That day, I suddenly understood a full sentence. It was short and simple, something like, He went to the park, but it felt like magic. For the first time, I didn't have to pause or guess. I just knew. That feeling, that spark of understanding, gave me so much joy. It was small, but it was real. That moment told me I was not wasting my time. It told me that listening works even when progress feels slow. So if you are just starting your English journey, I want you to know this. Start with listening. Don't worry about grammar yet. Don't force yourself to speak too soon. Don't stress if you don't understand everything. Just listen. Listen to what you enjoy. Cartoons, songs, short stories, podcasts, anything that makes you curious or happy. Even 10 minutes a day is enough. The key is to come back every day. Repetition is your friend. If you listen to the same short audio 10 times, you will begin to recognize patterns. Maybe not right away, but slowly. And that slow progress is powerful. It's real. It builds confidence. When I was learning, one of the best things I did was choose a short, simple story, just 2 minutes long. I listened to it every morning while brushing my teeth. At first, it felt like random sounds. But after a week, I started to understand small parts. I didn't look at the transcript. I didn't use a dictionary. I just listened. And by the third week, I could follow almost the whole story. It was the same story, the same words, but I had changed. My ears had changed. My brain had changed, and that gave me motivation to keep going. Please remember this. It's okay to feel confused at the beginning. It's okay to not understand. That does not mean you are failing. It means you are learning. Imagine the sunrise. At first, the sky is dark. Then you see a little light. Then more light. And finally, the whole world becomes clear. That's what learning English feels like. At first, you may not see much, but the light is coming. Keep listening. Trust the process. Your brain is learning, even when you don't notice. You are growing, even when it feels slow. So today, take that first step. Choose something simple in English. Play it. Don't pause. Don't translate. Just listen. Let the sounds enter your ears. Let them sit quietly in your mind. And come back tomorrow, and again the next day. Like a small seed growing underground, your English will grow. Silently, steadily, and beautifully. You may not see the change every day, but one day you'll hear a sentence and smile, because you will understand it without even trying. That day will come, but it begins with this small, powerful step: listening. Chapter 2. Speaking without fear, your voice matters. When I first started learning English, I thought listening would be enough. I believed that if I just listened to English every day, songs, stories, and conversations, one day the words would just come out of my mouth naturally. But that day didn't come. I was listening, yes. I was understanding more and more. But when I tried to speak, my mouth froze. The words in my head didn't come out. My tongue felt heavy. My voice felt weak. I was afraid. I was shy. I thought, what if I say it wrong? What if people laugh? What if they don't understand me? And maybe you've felt the same way too. Maybe even now you understand English in your mind but feel scared to use your voice. If that's true, I want to tell you something very important. You don't need to be perfect to speak. You just need to be brave. I remember the first time I really tried to speak English. Not in school, not for a test, just for myself. I stood in front of a mirror and looked at my own eyes. My heart was beating fast. I felt nervous, even though I was alone. And I said one simple sentence. This is my book. That's it. Nothing big, nothing fancy, just a small, easy sentence. But after I said it, I smiled. Because I had used my voice, I had spoken English. It wasn't perfect, but it was mine. That small sentence gave me courage. It told me, you can do this. After that, I started a small habit. Every day I spoke to myself in the mirror. One sentence, then two. Sometimes I said, I am happy, or the sun is shining, or I like apples. I didn't worry about mistakes. I didn't worry about grammar. I just practiced using my mouth. And slowly, something started to change. The fear began to shrink. My confidence began to grow. The mirror became my friend. It didn't laugh at me. It didn't correct me. It just gave me space to practice. And in that space, I found my voice. Then one day, I tried speaking outside. I went to a small shop and wanted to buy water. I thought about asking in my language. It would be easier, faster. But something in me said, try in English. So I took a deep breath and said, water, please. The shopkeeper smiled and gave me a bottle. That moment felt like a huge victory. I had spoken English, and someone had understood me. I didn't give a speech. I didn't use big words. Just 2 words. Water, please. But those 2 words opened a new door for me. The door to real-world English. Of course, I also made mistakes. So many mistakes. One time I wanted to say, I am hungry, but I said, I am angry. The person looked surprised and asked, why are you angry? We both laughed when I realized my mistake. I was embarrassed for a second, but then I saw something important. My mistake didn't stop the conversation. It made it more human, more real. That's when I learned this powerful truth. Mistakes are not bad. They are part of learning. They are like signs showing you the right direction. Think of a baby learning to walk. The baby falls many times, but nobody says, you fell. You are not good at walking number. We cheer. We smile. We say, try again. The baby stands up and keeps going. You are the same. When you speak English and make a mistake, don't stop. Don't feel ashamed. Say to yourself, it's okay. I'm learning. I'll try again. Every sentence you speak, even with mistakes, is a step forward. Your tongue is learning. Your mouth is training. Your brain is connecting ideas to words. This is real learning, and it only happens when you speak. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need a big vocabulary. You just need simple words and a little courage. And the more you speak, the more natural it becomes. It's like training a muscle. At first, it feels weak, but with daily practice, it becomes strong. 1 minute of speaking a day is better than 1 hour of silence. Even if you only say, today I feel tired, or I like this song, you are still making progress. So here's what I want you to try. Stand in front of a mirror and say one sentence in English. Any sentence. Look into your own eyes and say it slowly. Don't rush. Don't be shy. Say it with pride. Then say it again. Try a new sentence tomorrow. Make this your small daily habit. It only takes 1 minute, but it will build your confidence step by step. And when you feel ready, try using your English with others, even if it's just a greeting, a question, or a small conversation. The first time might feel scary, but remember, fear gets smaller every time you face it. And when someone understands your English, no matter how simple, that moment will fill your heart with joy. You will feel something special, something powerful. You will feel the beauty of connection. Speaking without fear doesn't mean you never feel nervous. It means you speak anyway. It means you choose courage over silence. And every time you do, your English grows stronger, and so do you. Your voice matters. Use it. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait to be good enough. Start now. Speak now. Because the best way to become confident in English is not by waiting, it's by speaking, one small sentence at a time. Chapter 3. The Power of Words. Build your vocabulary. Naturally. After I started listening every day and speaking small sentences to myself, something strange began to happen. I noticed that I didn't have enough words. I wanted to say something, but I didn't know how. I wanted to describe a feeling or talk about my day, but the words were missing. It felt like trying to build a house without enough bricks. I had some, but not many. And that's when I understood. If I wanted to speak more, I needed more words. But I also knew one thing. I didn't want to sit and memorize long vocabulary lists like I did in school. That never worked for me. I would learn 10 new words today and forget them all by next week. So I asked myself, how can I grow my vocabulary in a way that feels natural, easy, and real? The answer came slowly and in small pieces. I stopped memorizing and started noticing. I paid attention to the words I heard in songs, in cartoons, in short YouTube videos. If I didn't understand a word, I didn't panic. I just listened again. If I heard it many times, I wrote it down. I started keeping a small notebook, nothing big, just a small one I could carry in my pocket. Every time I heard a word that felt useful or interesting, I wrote it down. Only 1 or 2 words a day. That's it. No pressure. Later, when I had a quiet moment, I looked at the word again. I didn't write long definitions. I didn't translate it into my language. I simply wrote a short sentence in English using that word. For example, if I learned the word happy, I would write, I feel happy when I listen to music. That's all. And by doing this, I realized something powerful. You don't remember words by looking at them once. You remember them by using them in your life. Every time I saw or heard the word happy again, I remembered my own sentence. It was personal. It was mine. And that made it easier to remember. Slowly, my vocabulary started to grow, not like a waterfall, but like a small plant. Quietly, gently, naturally. And because I wasn't rushing, I didn't forget what I learned. One day, I was watching a cartoon in English. It was simple, made for children. And I heard a sentence. He is looking for his shoes. I paused. I knew the word shoes, but looking for was new. I listened again. I guessed that looking for meant searching. I didn't run to a dictionary. I just listened to how they used it. And after hearing the same phrase 3 or 4 times, I understood it. And the best part? A week later, when I lost my pen, I said, I am looking for my pen. It came out naturally, like magic. That was a big moment for me. Not because I learned a new phrase, but because I used it without trying. It was proof that you learn best when words become part of your daily world. I also used small, fun activities to remember new words. I wrote sticky notes and placed them on objects around my room. On the mirror, I wrote mirror. On the chair, I wrote chair. On my notebook, I wrote notebook. It made my room feel like a small English classroom. And every time I saw those notes, the words entered my mind again. I didn't study them. I just lived with them. That is how we learned our first language, by being surrounded by words. Another thing I did was choose just one word a day. That was my word of the day. I made it my goal to use that word in a sentence 3 times, once in speaking, once in writing, and once in thinking. Yes, thinking. I would say the sentence in my mind. For example, if my word of the day was cold, I might think, the water is cold. Later, I might say, it's cold outside. And then I might write, I don't like cold food. Just 3 small moments, but those 3 moments made the word stick in my brain. Many people think they need thousands of words to speak English well, but the truth is, you don't. Even 300 to 500 words can help you say most of the things you want to say. The key is not how many words you know. It's how well you can use the ones you do know. So start small. Don't try to learn 10 new words in one day. Just 1 or 2. Learn them deeply. Use them often. Speak them. Write them. Feel them. And most importantly, choose words that are useful to your life. If you are a student, learn words about school. If you are a mother, learn words about family and home. If you love music, learn words about songs and feelings. This way, you are building a vocabulary that connects to your heart. And when words have meaning in your life, they stay with you. Also, don't be afraid of forgetting. Everyone forgets. I forget too. But forgetting is part of learning. When you forget a word and remember it again, that word becomes even stronger in your mind. So don't feel sad when you forget. Just return to it with kindness. Say, I forgot you. But now I remember. Welcome back. Learning is not about perfection. It's about connection. So if you are ready to grow your English, don't start with a big vocabulary book. Start with your ears, your eyes, and your heart. Listen, notice, write, and use. Make the words your friends. Talk to them. Play with them. Live with them. And slowly, day by day, you will build your house of English, one strong word at a time. Chapter 4. Reading. the door to your imagination. When I began learning English, reading felt like climbing a tall mountain. Every sentence seemed full of strange words. Every paragraph felt like a puzzle I could not solve. I would open a book or an article and feel tired before I even started. Maybe you have felt that too. Maybe you opened an English book and closed it right away because it felt too hard. I understand that feeling very well. But today, I want to tell you something that changed my journey. Reading is not about understanding everything. It's about seeing just enough to keep going. At first, I made a mistake. I tried to read books that were too difficult. I picked novels with long chapters and hard vocabulary. I told myself, this will help me learn faster. But it didn't. I felt frustrated, lost, and small. So one day I stopped. I went to the library and found a small children's book, only 10 pages, full of pictures and very simple English. I sat down and started reading. The first page made me smile. It said, "The cat is on the mat." I knew those words. It felt good. I kept going. Some words were new, but I could guess their meaning from the pictures. I didn't use a dictionary. I didn't stop at every new word. I just kept reading. And for the first time, I finished a book in English. It was small, yes, but it gave me a big feeling of success. That day taught me something very important. You don't need big books to grow. You need the right books. Books that speak your language level, not your age. Even if you are an adult, it's okay to read stories made for children or English learners. Simple does not mean stupid. Simple means clear. And when things are clear, your brain learns faster. I started reading short stories almost every day. Sometimes I read fairy tales like Little Red Riding Hood or The Three Bears. Other times, I read simple English news or small articles on websites for beginners. Each time I read, I found a few words I didn't know, but I didn't panic. I used the same trick I used when listening. I guessed. I looked at the words before and after the new word. I looked at the sentence. I asked myself, what could this word mean? And many times I was right. And even when I was wrong, it didn't matter, because I was training my brain to think in English, not just translate. Reading became my quiet teacher. It helped me learn grammar without studying grammar rules. It showed me how real English works, how people use words in real life. I saw patterns like, I am going to, or she likes to, again and again. These small patterns became familiar. They became easy. And one day, without thinking, I used them in my own writing and speaking. That's when I realized reading gives you grammar without pain. Another thing reading gave me was imagination. When I read, I could see pictures in my mind. I could feel the story. I could travel to places I had never been. I remember reading a story about a boy who lived by the sea. As I read, I could hear the waves in my head. I could smell the ocean. I could feel the wind, all in English. That's the magic of reading. It turns simple words into strong feelings, and those feelings help you remember the words. If you are just starting, I want you to try something simple. Choose a short story in English. It can be for children or for beginners. Read one page. Don't use a dictionary unless you really need to. Try to guess. Read the same page again the next day. You will notice something surprising. You understand more the second time. And even more the third time. This is how your brain learns. Not by force, not by pressure, but by slow, repeated, gentle reading. You can also read out loud. This helps you in two ways. First, your eyes learn to see English. Second, your mouth learns to speak it. When you read out loud, even for 5 minutes a day, you are training your speaking at the same time. You are teaching your tongue how to move, and you are building your voice in English. There is one more thing I want to share. When I felt tired or lost, I went back to a story I had already read, and guess what? I understood more than before. That gave me confidence. It showed me that my English was improving, even if I didn't feel it every day. Reading gives you this gift. It shows you your progress in a quiet, powerful way. So please don't be afraid of reading. You don't need to read a big novel. Start with small things. A short story, a small article, even the back of a cereal box in English. Everything helps. The words will enter your mind like seeds, and one day those seeds will grow into sentences, and those sentences will grow into confidence. Reading is not just about learning English. It's about connecting to stories, to people, to emotions, and to the world. It opens your heart and your imagination. And with each page you turn, you will find yourself understanding more and becoming more. So open a book, even a small one, and start your quiet journey, one page at a time. Chapter 5. Writing. From Thoughts to Words. When I first started learning English, writing felt like the hardest thing. Listening was quiet. Speaking was short. Reading was slow but peaceful. But writing asked me to do everything at once. I had to think, choose the right words, make correct sentences, and worry about grammar and spelling all at the same time. My hand would freeze. My mind would go blank. I would open a notebook and just stare at the empty page. Maybe you have felt the same way. Maybe you have asked yourself, how can I write in English if I don't know what to say? But I want to tell you a small secret. Writing is not about being perfect. It's about expressing your thoughts, step by step, one small line at a time. I remember the first time I really tried to write something in English. I didn't try to write an essay or a letter. I didn't worry about topics or big words. I simply wrote one sentence about my day. Today I went to the market. That's all. But it felt like something big, because that sentence came from me. It was my real experience, and I had written it in another language. That small action gave me power. I felt proud, and I wanted to do it again. So I started a little journal, just for myself. Every night before sleeping, I wrote 2 or 3 sentences about my day. Nothing long, nothing difficult. Some days I wrote, I am tired. Other days I wrote, it rained today. I stayed inside. That journal became my quiet space. It didn't judge me. It didn't correct me. It just gave me space to practice. And slowly, my sentences grew. I started connecting ideas. It rained today, so I stayed inside and watched a movie. then I added feelings. The movie was funny. I laughed a lot. I was no longer just writing words. I was writing my life. Many people are afraid of writing because they think they need to use big grammar rules. But the truth is, grammar is something you notice and absorb, not something you need to fight with. When you write simple sentences often, you start to feel the grammar naturally. Just like when you read a lot, you begin to understand how sentences work. You don't need to memorize 50 rules. You need to write every day and trust the process. One powerful thing I did was this. I chose a short sentence I heard while listening, maybe from a story, a podcast, or a video, and I wrote it down. Then I changed it slightly to make it mine. For example, if I heard, "He likes to play soccer," I would write, "I like to play music." It helped me take something real and make it personal. This was more than copying. It was learning through doing. You can try this too. Find a short sentence that feels easy. Change one word, then change two. Soon, you will be creating full thoughts of your own. Another helpful tool is writing short messages or comments online, in English. You don't need to write a full paragraph. Just write a simple comment under an English video or a post. "Thank you, this helped me." Or, "I like this story." When you do this, you are practicing in real life. And that kind of writing, short, quick, real, helps you grow in confidence. The more you write, the more you feel comfortable. Your mind starts to organize thoughts in English, not just your own language. Sometimes I also wrote small stories, very simple ones, like, "There was a cat. The cat was hungry. It looked for food. It found milk. It drank the milk and slept." Was it a great story? Number. But it was mine. It used simple vocabulary. It had a beginning and an end. And it showed me that I could build something from nothing. That's the magic of writing. You begin with a small thought, and you turn it into something alive. And yes, I made mistakes. Spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes, missing words. But do you know what I discovered? Every mistake was a light that showed me, "Hey, look here." Learn from this. Mistakes didn't break my English. They built it. I learned the word went because I kept writing go ed. I learned the word better because I wrote more good. I didn't need a red pen or a teacher. My own writing showed me the way. So how can you start today? Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait to become ready. Just take a notebook or open your phone and write one sentence. That's it. One thought from your mind. Maybe how you feel. Maybe what you did today. Maybe something you saw. It doesn't matter. What matters is that it's your voice in English. Here's a small challenge. Every day, write 3 sentences. Only 3. Don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about spelling. Just write what you think. After a week, you'll have 21 sentences. After a month, you'll have 90. And after a year, you'll have a whole story. The story of your learning. You will see your own growth. You will see how your English changed and how you changed with it. Writing is a quiet tool. It's not loud like speaking. It's not fast like listening. But it's deep. It connects your mind to the language. It helps you organize your thoughts. It gives you time to think and learn. And it gives you confidence. Because when you write something, you can see it, you can touch it, you can go back to it, you can fix it, you can grow from it. So don't fear the blank page. It's not empty. It's full of possibilities. It's waiting for your words. And your words, no matter how simple, have power. So write them. Slowly. Gently. One sentence at a time. And soon you'll discover that writing in English is not something to be afraid of. It's something to love. Chapter 6. Creating your English world. Make English part of your life. After I spent time listening, speaking, reading, and writing, I realized something very important. Even though I was doing all the right things, watching English videos, writing in my journal, reading short stories, something was still missing. I felt like English was something I did, not something I lived. It was like visiting a new country for an hour each day and then returning to my old world again. I made progress, yes, but slowly. Then, one day, I had a simple but life-changing idea. What if I didn't just study English? What if I started to live inside it? What if I created a small English world around me, like a new home for my growing language? That idea changed everything. I started with small things. I changed the language on my phone to English. At first it felt strange. I had to think more, look carefully, and sometimes even guess what the words meant. But soon, settings and notifications and airplane mode became normal to me. I saw these words every day and they became familiar, like friends I saw often. This is what I call passive learning. You're not sitting down to study, you're just living your life, but with English quietly working in the background. Then I began putting small English notes around my room. On the door, I wrote door. On the mirror, mirror. On my desk, desk. You can laugh, but it worked. Every time I entered the room, I saw those little words. My brain started to connect them with real things. That's how children learn, not by reading dictionaries, but by hearing and seeing words every day in their environment. You can do the same. You can turn your home into a classroom without making it feel like school. Another powerful change was how I used my free time. Before, I would watch shows or listen to music in my own language. But slowly, I began replacing those moments with English. I didn't force myself to watch difficult things. I started with simple cartoons, short podcasts, or songs with lyrics I could understand. And because I enjoyed them, I kept coming back. I didn't even notice that I was learning, but I was. My ears were becoming sharp. My brain was learning without effort. That's what happens when you make English fun. And yes, I made English a habit, not a big scary goal, just a habit. Every morning, I listened to 5 minutes of English, while brushing my teeth, while walking, while making tea, just 5 minutes, but every day. At night, I wrote 2 or 3 sentences in my journal, again very small, but every night. This small, daily connection with English was like water for a plant. Maybe I didn't see big change in one day or one week, but after a few months, my English had grown roots. It was strong because it was regular. I also found something that many people forget. English is not only a language, It is a way to connect with people. So I joined small online communities for English learners. I found people like me, people who were shy, who made mistakes, who were learning slowly. We shared short messages. We helped each other. Sometimes we even made voice calls just to practice. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. And that's when I truly felt the power of English, not just as a subject, but as a bridge between hearts. Even when I was alone, I talked to myself in English. I would look at the sky and say, "The clouds are beautiful today." I would look at my food and say, "This smells good." Talking to yourself in English may feel strange at first, but it's one of the best ways to keep the language alive in your mind. You don't need a partner. You are your own best practice partner. I also started dreaming in English sometimes. Not every night, but some nights. And even when I couldn't remember the full dream, I remembered a word or a voice in English. That's how I knew my brain was really starting to live in this new language. I was not just learning English anymore. I was becoming part of it. So what can you do today to build your English world? Start small, one change at a time. Maybe change the language on your phone. Maybe find one English song you like and listen to it every day. Maybe watch a 5-minute video in English before bed. Maybe write one sentence each morning. Don't try to do everything at once. Just pick one thing and do it with love. With time, your English world will grow. You will start to feel comfortable. You will begin to think in English, not because you are forcing yourself, but because your mind is now used to the language. You will feel less afraid. You will enjoy the learning, and you will see that English is not a wall to climb, but a garden to walk through, slowly, peacefully, every day. Creating your English world is not about pressure. It's not about being perfect. It's about making English part of your life in small, beautiful ways. So choose joy, choose connection, choose progress, not perfection. Your journey is yours. Walk it with peace and patience.